Hello friends, this AIB 8 set A is the tough paper as far as I have seen the paper. So I just decided to record this video. We can go through 25 questions आणि जरासं थोडं प्रॅक्टिस केलं आणि परत परत ऐकलं तर ह्या लक्षात राहण्यासारख्या आहेत. So we'll go now. First question, the mere legality of strike does not per se spell unjustifiability. Justice Krishna Iyer, in which case declared so. The case is Gujarat Steel Tube versus Gujarat Steel Tube Mazdoor Sabha. Illegality of strike does not per se spell unjustifiability. Second, entry 22 of the concurrent list deals with the trade unions and industrial labor disputes. Entry 22 of concurrent list and trade union and labor industrial disputes. Third question, which article under Constitution of India talks about the participation of workers in the management of industries? 43A is the article. So 43A talks about participation of workers in the management. 4. Pick out the case that is popularly called as solicitor's case. National Union of Commercial Employees versus Industrial Tribunal, Bombay. हे केसेस माहिती असणं थोडंसं टफ होतं म्हणून जरा मला वाटलं की हा पेपर वेगळा आहे थोडासा. So I expect this year's paper like this only, and we should be prepared for tough paper like this. So AIBE 18 साठी एवढ्याच तयारीची अपेक्षा आहे. 5. Identify the case that is related to the need for promotion and preservation of internal democracy within trade unions. Internal democracy. Hanmanta Rao versus Deputy Registrar of Trade Unions. Hanmanta Rao versus Deputy Registrar of Trade Unions is related to the need for promotion and preservation of internal democracy within trade unions. 6. In tort, there are two broad categories of activities for which plaintiff may be held strictly liable. That is the possession of certain animals and abnormally dangerous activities. Two broad categories. Plaintiff may held strictly liable of possession of certain animals and abnormally dangerous activities. Next question. Selvi's daughter Kavita had married Shiv Kumar of different caste against wishes of her family. Shiv Kumar was brutally killed in 2004 and Selvi and two others became the suspects since the prosecution's case depended entirely on circumstantial evidence. It sought the court's permission to conduct polygraph and brain mapping test on the three persons. The court granted permission and sought the court's permission to perform narco analysis on three persons. Quite big. वाचायला पण बराच वेळ लागू शकतो. थोडं इंग्लिश. ही सेल्वी वर्सेस कर्नाटकाची केस आहे. Compulsory brain mapping and polygraph test and narco analysis is where the violation of Article 23 and 21 of the Constitution. The magistrate directed the three to undergo narco analysis. All of them challenged this decision in the Karnataka High Court, but failed to get relief. Then they went in appeal to the Supreme Court. The court held compulsory brain mapping आणि polygraph test are violation of Article 20 Clause 3 and 21. Leading case है Selvi versus Karnataka. 8. According to the Article 71, dispute arising in connection with the election of president or vice president are to be inquired into decided by Supreme Court. Article 71 मध्ये प्रेसिडेंट आणि व्हाईस प्रेसिडेंटच्या कनेक्शन्स मध्ये जे काही इलेक्शनचे डिस्प्यूट आहेत इन्क्वायर्ड बाय सुप्रीम कोर्ट. 9. The Water Prevention and Control Pollution Act 1971 regulates the discharge of hazardous pollution into the nation's surface water. बाकीचे पण चॉईस असे जवळचे वाटत आहेत, त्यामुळे नेशन्स सरफेस वॉटर हा कीवर्ड लक्षात ठेवा. 10. It was held by the Supreme Court that noise pollution beyond permissible limit cannot be tolerated even if such noise were direct result of and connected with religious activities in the case of Church of God Full Gospel in India versus KKR Majestic Colony Welfare Association. 11. The Supreme Court observed where an enterprise is engaged in hazardous or inherently dangerous activity and harm results to anyone on account of accident in the operation of such hazardous or inherently dangerous activity resulting, for example, escape of toxic gas, the enterprise is strictly and absolutely liable to compensate all those who are affected by the accident, and such liability is not subject to measure to compensation, must be considered to the magnitude and capacity of the enterprise, because such greater be the amount of compensation payable by it of the harm caused on the account of accident in the carrying on of hazardous or inherently dangerous activity by the enterprise. Name of the case is MS Vaita versus Union of India. खूप मोठे आहे क्वेश्चन, वाचायलाच बराच वेळ जातोय. याच्यात वेळ लागून बहुतेक आपल्याला फुल अटेम्प्ट करणं अशक्य होईल. सो रीडिंग हॅबिट ठेवा. 12. Article 48A and 51A G were inserted in the Constitution by the Constitution 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. Confusion होऊ शकतं. 1976 आणि 42 हे लक्षात ठेवा. 13. According to the Environmental Protection Act of 1986, environmental pollutant means any solid, liquid, or gaseous substance present in such concentration as may be or tend to be injurious to environment. Environment pollutant ची definition आहे. 14. A is in possession of property claimed by B and C adversely. A does not claim any interest in the property and is ready to deliver it to the rightful owner. A can institute a interpleader suit. म्हणजे 3 जणांमध्ये A कडे पोझिशन आहे आणि बी आणि सी हे ते क्लेम करतात. मग ए त्याला स्वतःला काही इंटरेस्ट नाहीये, फक्त त्याचा एवढा इंटरेस्ट आहे की राईटफुल ओनर कडे ही वस्तू जावी. सो ए कॅन इन्स्टिट्यूट इंटरप्लेडर सूट. 15. An executive magistrate may require security for keeping and good behavior for habitual offender for a period not more than 3 years. हा रिपीट झालेला प्रश्न आहे, so please mark it. Executive magistrate आणि 3 years. Good behavior for habitual offenders. 16. The police officer executing the warrant may use adequate force to access the place where the search is to be conducted when a free ingress is not possible. 17. As per the provision of Code of Criminal Procedure, in the case of merger of complaint with the police report, the procedure to be followed for the trial shall be of the case instituted on the police report. Merger of complaint with the police report. The procedure बद्दल आहे. Trial follow will be the case instituted on the police report. 18. Peak versus Gurney is a famous case relating to fraud. पहिल्यांदाच वाचलेली आहे मी, सो जरा केसेस थोड्याशा लक्षात ठेवा. अजून एक व्हिडिओ मी अपलोड करेन. 19. Law is conceived as a form of the power value conceived by C. Laswell and M.C. Dougall. So I'll repeat, it is actually the law is conceived as a form of power value. A statement conceived by C. Laswell and M.C. Dougall. Power value and C. Laswell. लक्षात ठेवा. The development of tradition of natural justice into one of the natural law is usually attributed to the Stoics. Development of tradition of natural justice into one of natural law. 25च करूया म्हणजे कंटाळा येणार नाही. तेवढं परत परत ऐकलं तरी सुद्धा ज्या वेळेला आपल्या हाताखालून पेपर जाईल तेव्हा लगेच आपल्याला क्लिक होतं. 21. The requirement to give reason in administrative decision which affect rights and liabilities has been held to be mandatory by the Supreme Court in S.N. Mukherjee versus Union of India. Administrative decision संदर्भातली आहे, which affect rights and liabilities has been held mandatory. Requirement to give reasons is mandatory. In administrative decision. Administrative decision मध्ये ज्या वेळेला राईट्स अँड लायबिलिटी डिसाइड केल्या जातात त्यावेळेला रिझन दिलं पाहिजे. हे या केसमध्ये सुप्रीम कोर्टने हेल्ड केलं होतं. ते मॅन्डेटरी आहे, रिझन सांगितलेच पाहिजेत. 22. Donmore Committee report on ministerial power 1932 relates to England. 23. Section 47(3) Motor Vehicles Act empowers the Regional Transport Authority to limit the number of stage carriage permits, explain the nature of the function exercise. This is an administrative function as authority decision is based on official policy. एक ऑफिशियल पॉलिसी आहे ही या संदर्भात 6 people excluding driver ही लिमिट आहे. 24. In which famous case the issue had come up, whether advice had committed advocate has committed a professional misconduct and is guilty of the offense of the criminal contempt of court, have interfered with, obstructed and the course of justice by trying to threaten, overbear the court by using insulting, disrespectful and threatening language. It is held in Vinay Chandra Mishra in Ray. And the last question I'll just read out. Long question आहेत, जरा वाचायची सवय ठेवा please. Misconduct would cover any activity or conduct which is professional brethren of good repute and competency would reasonably regard as disrespectful or dishonorable. It may be quoted that the scope of misconduct is not restricted by technical interpretation of rules of conduct. This was proven conclusively in the case of Bar Council of Maharashtra versus Dabholkar. Leading case आहे misconductच्या संदर्भातली. So I'll conclude this video here. Please like, share, subscribe for the next video. हा पेपर खूप महत्वाचा आहे. काय काय क्वेश्चन रिपीटेड आहेत त्यातले आणि जरा लेंदी पेपर आहे, पण मोटर व्हेकल आणि 2-3 प्रश्न जे आहेत ते रिपीटेड आहेत. प्लीज गो थ्रू. थँक यू व्हेरी मच. आय विल स्टॉप हियर.